afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your very grateful host. And in studio with me, Parker. What up, Park?
What's up, guys?
Man, it's a great day. Great Tuesday today. You know, we've had this discussion on Tuesday. At least me and Lane maybe had this conversation. It's a good day of the week, you know, but Monday's Monday. You know, you're fresh, you got it ready to rock and roll. Friday's Friday, Thursday's the day before Friday, Wednesday's hump day. Tuesday. And we're just going to have to go to a 4-day work week. I would work the 5th day. All righty. Guys, we got so much to talk about today. First, go check out my friends over there at Stan's Auto for all of your automobile needs. Go check out Stan's Auto. 2 great locations, one in Lafayette, right by the Grand Theater, right by Reds on Johnson Street, and then right off of the Admiral Doyle in New Iberia, former J.P. Thibodeau building. All right, so check those guys out. We are going to talk about local some more today. We'll talk budget. It's the budget season, something to think about. And look, don't anybody take this the wrong way. A budget is how you show your priorities. So I'll highlight a few that I think are probably not the priorities of the community. And it's not my priorities for sure. I don't think it's Parker's priorities. And I don't think anybody's going to think there's some priorities. Well, should I say there's always priorities? What are they to you? Okay. All right. Today we're going to focus, or at least this part of the local discussion, let's focus on salaries. Shall we? All right. So, in 2024-25, the total, let's look at the budget as a whole, all right? When you look at the total LCG budget in 23-24, you're covering 2 years, November 1st to October 31st, all right? So that just a few years ago, LCG salaries, all LCG salaries were at $115 million. Now, if you fast forward to the proposed 26-27 LCG budget, that's 3 cumulative years, and we've ballooned salaries up to $145.5 million. That's a lot of money. That's $30 million. Now, the thing about that $30 million is that's recurring. That $30 million, and it'll be more next year, that $30 million is going to be there next year, and the next year, and the next year. So if you look at all of these salaries, okay, and you look at all of this, you can see that there's an issue, okay? So if you go to year 1, where there was just an increase of like 10 million, it's just 10 million, and then year 2, I forgot what it was. And now year 3 of Mayor President Monique Boulet's administration, we're now at 30.2. So if you add up the increases in 24, the increases in 25, and now the increases into 26 going into 27, we will have spent in 3 years under this administration $65 million already. By the end of this budget, it'll be $65 million in just salaries. Just salaries. $65.3 million in just salary increases from this current administration in 3 years. That is extremely important. Yesterday, we talked about O&M dollars and capital dollars. O&M, operation and maintenance. That's where you pay these salaries out of. This is very important because O&M can be used for capital, okay? But capital can't be used for O&M. So road dollars allocated for road projects must be used only for roads. So when the mayor president says that and says, well, we can't use all this money. We can't do this. We can only get into debt. That's wrong. That is an incorrect statement. Now, whether it's being told to us on purpose incorrectly, or maybe the person saying it, in this case, the mayor president, maybe she doesn't know, whatever the case may be, but it is what it is. Now, let's stay true. Let's stay objective. because we don't want to leave out our first responders. This is what Democrats do in rhinos. See, to fight against this, they'll say, oh, well, you're against fire and police. Guys, in that 40 million or in that 30-something million dollars a year increase, do y'all know cumulatively in 3 years, if you add fire and police, it's only $5 million increase. You can't make this up. So let's keep those raises in. So now we're down to $60.5 million in a 3-year period by this particular mayor president in Lafayette, spent just on salary increases. Now, LCG has an ordinance in place. Let's keep going because I want to be fair. I want to be fair in this. LCG has an ordinance, a 2% pay raise ordinance. That's what I call it. And if certain economic indicators are present, then LCG employees here in Lafayette get a pay raise of 2%. Not every year. I don't think they qualify, but maybe they did this year. I don't know. But let's just assume they have qualified all 3 years. So we're giving her a conservative estimate of the wasteful spending. So if you bring that down, that's 2%. That's $13.88 million. So that brings roughly a net of $51.4 million. $51.4 million. Y'all let me say it again. $51.4 million after we keep pay raises for fire and police, after we give LCG a 2% pay raise. More than $50 million. That is O&M dollars, $51.39 million. That's why salaries mean something. That's why wasteful spending and growing government means something. The mayor president right now is asking to stretch out a millage that is not even set to expire by 2039. And I'm going to tell you why when we get back from the break, okay? So stick around, guys. Let's have some fun, Parker. Just talking truth. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. You can check us out on rumble.com. I want to see that chat. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. And guys, let me tell you about Brown Counseling. Brown Counseling and Consulting is a counseling private practice with licensed counselors. Their Christian organization helps people with their hurts, habits, and hang-ups. They're located at 100 Sable Palms Road, Suite 1 in Youngsville. It's by appointment only. That's Brown Counseling and Consultant. It's a private practice with licensed counselors ready to help you. Check out their website at browncounseling.biz, browncounseling.biz, or call them 573-0636, Brown Counseling, Youngsville, Louisiana. You know, we were talking earlier, and I'll try to get off this topic, but I've been asked a lot about the budget. That's normal. It's budget time. So one thing to highlight, okay? Right now, Mayor President Boulay is wanting to do something with the road millage, okay? That's Proposition 1. Let's just say that, all right? So there's 5 millages we're going to vote on here, I think in the fall. 5 propositions. Proposition 2 through 5 looks very normal. What you would think if you want to use the term renew, but it's a continuation of, and that language is crystal clear in there. Proposition 1 is not. And a lot of people are saying, well, we just got to renew bonds. You can't renew bonds. Don't just erase that when you hear that, okay? You can extend a millage, and then you can bond it out based on that revenue and get into debt. And that's exactly what the mayor president's doing. Let me explain. The millage that we're talking about, Proposition 1, it's not set to expire until 2039, okay? And it's getting revenue in, and it already has debt tied into that by general obligation bonds, okay? So this is a thing. This is a real thing. What the administration, they're trying to trick us. They want us to vote 13 years early. 13 years early on a millage, and they're masking it with this road program. Guys, I love all the projects. I love all the road projects. I mean, I didn't see every single one. The ones I looked at, I love them, love them, love them. My question is, why aren't they started by now? We do not need debt. Not all debt's bad debt. And if you're going to go bond out $77 million, we need to come in with a splash, like something that really, really helps the parish as a whole. Not these little one-off, not these routine road projects. So the mayor president wants to do a $77 million debt obligation. She's calling it a renewal, Proposition 1. But here's the deal. We talked about salaries last segment. This is extremely important. You want to know why we don't have nice things? Because we can't afford it, because we're wasting it on bubble gum, okay? So if you add all the salary increases that the mayor president has had cumulatively from the time she's gotten in office until right now, she's increased it by $65 million. Not maintained, increased, okay? Its recurring increased amount is $30 million. So notice how I'm saying that. Cumulatively, the first year wasn't, it was a little lower. Second year was a little higher. Third year, now it's $30 million. Recurring, it's coming back. But we still paid the other $30 million over the first 2 years. So that's where we're getting this number. And if you look at that, it's $65 million. Now, of course, they got some things in there to play politics, like, oh, so you're against fire and police pay raise? No, I actually gave those guys 5 raises in 4 years. Not me, the council and everybody. I shouldn't say I, because that's not accurate. It's a team. But regardless, let's keep that in. That still only drops it by $5 million. So let's keep going. Let's give the mayor president benefits of the doubt. Let's help her out, okay? Now, the rest of LCG could have been eligible for a 2% pay raise. I don't know if they were or not. I think they were at least 2 of the 3 budgets, but let's say they were all 3. Let's just be real conservative in our values. That means in 3 years, if you keep the pay raises, that means you could keep every pay raise you gave, and I'm even doing this on your new position. So it's actually more than this that this mayor president has wasted in salaries. So just under $51.4 million, $51.39 million. That's us keeping fire and police pay raises. That's with us keeping 2% pay raises for LCG employees every year of this mayor president's budget, and she will have still spent $51.39 million in only 3 years, only on salary increases. That's it. And again, this is so important. I'm going to tie it all together. The mayor president wants us to vote on this millage that expires 13 years from now. If we vote on that, it's going to extend the revenue forecast and projection. They're going to take that forecast and that revenue, they're going to go to the bond market and they're going to bond us out and get us into more debt. They're going to take that money and pay $77 million on projects that should have already been started. Why? So let me get this straight. It took you 3 years to identify road projects? Because on KPEL, she said it wasn't going to be, none of these would be started for 2+ years. And if a Democrat's telling us that in local government, it's like 3 or 4 years. And I mean that, I don't mean that in an ugly way. I mean that just historically speaking, objectively. So I don't understand it. I like to understand it. But you list those projects, those are great. Go do them. But you have the money right now. That's with us. And guys, I just want to reiterate, that's with us keeping the pay raises. That's with us keeping the pay raises for fire and police. Still over $50 million in 3 years. Why is that number important, Guillory? Because Mayor President Boulay is offering us the wonderful deal of $77 million of debt. We just spent 50 on salaries alone. That is 2/3 of her road projects, okay? 2/3. If it's 30 million recurring this year, that 30 million would have been there next year. You cut that, now you got more than enough. Now you have 80 million. 80 is more than 77. So you pay in 3 years cash what you want to bond us and put us into debt for over 30 years. Well, we'll pay multiple $77 million. Because there will be an administration that maybe comes in the future and wants to do the same thing in 20 years. So we have to protect. You want to help yourself out now? Let's do that. We got the cash. Go do it. Go and do it. Parker, am I talking gibberish?
No, I'm actually very locked in. You're actually making a lot of sense.
You know, it's we got the money. And when you talk about roads, bud, and you talk about salaries are paid. And I'm going to keep using this term because it's not a term we use every day. O&M, operation and maintenance, versus capital. Every single one of our expenditures in local government, and probably all government, is either O&M or capital. Capital dollars can only be spent on capital projects. So that road millage that we're going to be voting on, and by the way, if we vote no, guess what happens? Nothing. The millage stays in place. And it'll be in place for the next 13 years. That's why I'm saying, look, be very careful and pause. Don't just rush through a bond program when you don't need it. Now, if we needed it, like, you didn't have any money, and this was a way to do a real, just big old push for the parish, then great. But you're obligating the parish and the city to these massive, I almost call them tax. No, she increased taxes, but the wages, this O&M expenditure. If you were turning water on and just letting it run, you would pay that with O&M. What would you tell LCG? Turn the faucet off, so you don't have to pay for all that water. Same thing here. Turn the faucet off. These increases of salary, just 3 years, 50 million, just over 50 million. It'll be more next year. When we could be paying cash, we want to do that. All right, like I said, the projects are wonderful, man. Go do them. Nothing is stopping you from doing them. It's budget time. You could actually cut the 30 million that you proposed in additional salaries for this year recurring, since compared to just a few years ago. If you just made that cut, you could do 1/3 of your road program right now. And then guess what? The next year, you could do the second third. And then guess what? The year after, you could do the third of the third. And then you have a year to run around and say, look how all the great things we've done. And we paid in cash. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Go visit my friends at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Guys, I was using some of those home remedy things that Dr. Kevin's been talking about. I made sure this past weekend and I actually, Park, I'm going to ask Dr. Kevin to elaborate on this, but, I've been paying attention in our friendship, and he comes in on Wellness Wednesday, but I made sure to get a lot more sun. I made sure to stand on grass to get like grounded and things like that, just, hanging out over the weekend. And there's some other tips of natural resources that he can give you that'll help you out. But we're busy. And a lot of those natural resources, doggone it, are hard to do because we're busy. So he has his wellness clinic. And he can explain way better than me, and he's trained on why and how that works, and how he calls it tricking Mother Nature almost. But let him figure that out. But let him tell you all about it. Go check out his seminar. It's free. 983 Care. 983 Care. Join me, my wife, and my friends, and go feel better today. Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic here in Lafayette, Louisiana. All right, Park. So we were talking about the local budget, specifically the use of, or the increase in salaries over a 3-year period is staggering. It's $65 million cumulatively.
I haven't gotten a raise.
You know, not that much.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a single raise.
Well, guess what? If you kept the fire and police pay raises in and the 2% pay raise, which is higher than what actually was happening, I'm doing this for conservative, you still have spent, this mayor president will have still spent by the end of her third budget only, just over $50 million, 50 point something, $339 million, just in increased salaries.
So what you're telling me is that I should shoot her an email and ask her to increase mine. She's just giving them.
Why not? Yeah, just say, look, I mean, 5%?
I know.
But who has to pay it?
I don't know. Who do you think has to pay it?
Me or someone else?
As long as it's not me.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to pay my own salary.
You're on the receiving end on that one. Hey, that's all good.
I know.
That's all good.
I've been paying everybody else's salaries. I want somebody to pay mine.
Exactly. Man, look. This is important, though, Park, okay? This is important because all of these salaries fall into O&M, operation and maintenance. O&M can be used for capital. That means you can use it for road projects. Well, we just identified $50 million. Now, I know, I get it. It's not going to be nice to go and tell all these job people you created that you're going to have to eliminate their job. But who is your duty to? Who is your duty to? Is it to the institution where you have a duty to that? Or is your primary duty to the folks? Because last time I checked, the fiduciary duty belongs to the people. Whether they voted for you or they didn't, whether they did vote or didn't vote, whatever. That's the duty. So if you take $50 million in a 3-year period, it's more than that, guys. Remember, I calculated it safely just to give benefits of the doubt. But man, you know how many roads you could pave? I'll tell you, 2/3 of what the mayor president is proposing we go to debt on. And if you were to cut those salaries right now, and I hate people losing jobs, but I didn't create that, okay? And I'm not saying people have to necessarily lose their job because there's a lot of line items that are not filled. And civil service has a wild way of making sure everybody finds a spot, or at least has first right of refusal and things like that. There's some Adam down the street and his crew. They know what they're doing. And the reason I know that is because we did it. We did it when we went through this little analysis of non-essential versus essential worker. I think that game should be played more and more. We played it often. I liked it. I liked that game, actually. But anyway, so that and do more with less. But doing more with less would mean this. So, but those 30 million, I'm just follow me, because right now it's a recurring 30 million. Cumulatively, since she's been in office, it's been a net. If we keep the pay raises for LCG employees and keep the pay raises for fire and police, she increased salaries, i.e. positions, in the tune of $50.339 million in a short 3-year period. You got to try to do that, man. If you tried that hard to pave roads, you'd have roads paved. Look, that 50 million cumulative, but it's 30 million in the 26-27 budget. That means that 30 million is going to be there the next year, and the next year it'll probably be higher. Follow me now. 77 million is what our mayor president wants us to go in debt over on these routine road projects. If you eliminate that 30 million, you can pay for more than a third year one. That's where you do all your engineering, your studies, all the things. But go get it done. I'm giving you the formula. The next year, you put a dang shovel in the ground unless you can do it sooner, okay? But there's another 30 million year 2. And then there's another 30 million year 3. I'm at 90 million. In 3 years, we will have had more than, I'm not a mathematician, $13 million more in 3 years than what this mayor president wants us to be in debt over for 30 years. That is not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair. We pay a lot of money in taxes. We pay, and you, man, you could call me every name under the book, and I love you back. But dude, I know what a lean budget is, and so does most people listening to this program or watching this program. And if you were sitting at home and you saw that $50 million net after we take care of the folks, after we give our wonderful police and firemen their pay raise, after we give LCG their 2% a year pay raise, still $50 million this mayor president could be spending on things that matter. That road program has a lot of good projects. It really does. And I'm telling you that we have the money to go do it, and we should be doing that right this moment. How are we doing on time, Park?
We're doing all right.
All right. So you had some thoughts on that.
So my question is, I know you referred to it probably maybe a week or two ago. How much road work you had done, or y'all had? You said y'all are a team. Y'all are a team. Yeah. With all this money going to all the salaries, I don't think people's main concern is what other people are making right now. That's just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we all. I mean, of course, we all want the betterment of everybody. Yeah. But for me, the people are worried about the roads. The people are worried about other things.
Yeah.
So why is the money going towards salaries?
Yeah.
When it just doesn't seem like it's going towards what the people want it to go to. Because the people are complaining about the roads. I've been producing radio now for 3 months, and it's probably been the biggest complaint from road.
Really? Yeah. It's and paving roads, man. To answer your question, it's a priority.
But it doesn't seem like it's the biggest priority right now for. I'll let that go there.
No. Well, no, you're right. It's not. But here's the thing. Elections. Hey, man, you vote folks in. They bring in their thoughts. They bring in their priorities with them. And this is a different set of priorities. And look, I don't believe we come into anybody with a problem without a recommended solution. So I will stipulate, and we should all agree, these road projects are fantastic. I don't know why it took 3 years to put these things on paper, because that's all it is. There's nothing in the budget saying these things are going through. The mayor president said on KPEL, I think last week, that, we're still a couple years away. What? So basically you have ideas and nothing. You want to talk about it because there's an election next year, and that kind of makes sense to show that you're now focusing on roads. But Park, it's about priorities. And to answer your other question, look, my guys came together. It's all public record, and it was about just after year 3, we had paved more than 210 miles of local roads. Okay, 210 miles.
And just a short thought. I know we don't have anything really much to do with Texas, but again, how the people voted to not have the library positions added. Mm-hmm. Same thing in Texas. I saw, 70 they to vote on the new marijuana laws.
Okay. That caught your attention.
70% of the state voted to not pass those laws, and it still got passed. And it's the same thing. Majority of people in Louisiana or Lafayette voted not to have those things. So to a lot of people, it's starting to feel like a lot of our votes don't matter.
That's sad, because that creates voter apathy. Let's talk about that after the break. But right before, man, I'll say this. Because me and Kish yesterday were talking about this in a break. Like, where has the money gone? And that's salaries, and we talked about that. And I want to talk about that maybe a little bit more if you want to. I don't know. We have so many other things to talk about.
All of it's in the library.
No, it's more of not being efficient. And if you have a culture of do more with less, I don't care what your excuse is. Make sure it's legal and ethical, and do more with less. I just don't care about an excuse. And our supply chain, your supply chain issue ain't our supply chain issue. So folk figure it out, But when you have that, I get in the hand arms thing. All right, I'll stop blabbing. Okay, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Me and Parker having some fun over here in the KPEL studio. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We love you guys. And I want y'all to go check out KLFY Plus as well. They got some pretty cool stuff. They have yours truly. You can catch the Josh Guillory Show from Sunday to Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. It's a one-day rebroadcast. So you hear me say all these nerdy things about O&M and all this. What is he talking about? Well, you can hear us the day after, too. What you got over there? Oh, by the way, Giles Subaru. Go check them out. Giles Subaru, right on Johnson Street, right close to Ambassador Cafford. You can't miss it. They got all the models available to you. That is a sharp-looking vehicle. Actually, sharp-looking vehicles. Subaru's pretty cool, man. They got a dog park over there. Kish was talking about that yesterday. I was like, hey, they got good cars, too. Go check out Giles Subaru. Subaru, I still say one of the coolest showrooms in town. Giles Subaru, right on Johnston, near Ambassador. Go check those guys out. What you got, Park?
I know during the last segment you were referring to O&M, I believe.
O&M, yes, operations and maintenance.
Do you want to, for the viewers and for me as well, want to go in a little bit more detail? You're using a little bit of political verbiage. We're not too.
Oh gosh, this is just like, yeah, this is verbiage. It's a foreign language. Like I said, I'm just the translator. All I'm doing is bringing you truth, and I'm just translating it because a lot of these bureaucrats and a lot of these folks in this situation, our current mayor president, look, she either knows she's telling us she either knows what she's doing or she doesn't know what she's doing. That's the only two options. She either knows that she's trying to pull one over on us, doing a millage 13 years earlier to get us into a 30-year debt obligation, or she doesn't.
Which one would you prefer?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one, because if you know and you still push it forward, then you're lying.
But if you don't know,
then you're incompetent.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. If you don't know,
but I don't know. You asked me a good question.
Because if you don't know, don't want to go that far, but
no,
should you be doing what you're doing?
You shouldn't be in that position if you don't know.
Right.
So you have to assume, I mean, she's a Blanco, so they've been around a hot minute, and they're kind of used to doing this, that regime. Look, and no offense, all right? Nothing personal there. These are numbers. Numbers don't have emotion. They shouldn't, okay? I get emotional thinking of the wasteful spending because I see roads that I drive on all over the parish, not just Lafayette, whether it's the north side, the south side. I'd be really mad if I was in the north side. North side, south side, the parish, the unincorporated areas. You got some road projects you can work with the municipalities on. I'm just saying, okay? So the folks are T.I. red of this stuff. I am. So that's why. $50 million after it's $65 million that the mayor president has paid in additional salaries in 3 years, yet she wants to go into debt for 30 years for $77 million to fund routine road projects that are fantastic when they should be done already. It's 3 years. Give me $50 million in 3 years. Give me $50 million in 3 years and you'll see some dirt moving. Okay? You'll see some flying in the air all over the place helping people. It's kind of like we were talking about. Well, I'll leave that subject out. I was going to switch topics, but I want to stay on the topic. So O&M can be used for capital. So all these salaries can be used for capital. But if you include the pay raises for fire and police, and you include the 2% pay increases to LCG, you're at a net of $50.339 million in additional salaries only. Has your services improved? No. But we do have a lot of cones. I will say that. We do have a lot of cones in at least the city of Lafayette. I think they make it out to the unincorporated areas. Sometimes there's Parker, you have like a governor on your speed. You ever heard of that? You have like a governor on your vehicle that you can't go a certain amount of speed. That's a thing. Okay.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know. Governor on vehicle kind of confused me.
Yeah, it's speed, weird.
Yeah, like a lot of work vehicles.
A lot of work vehicles. I think that the current LCG vehicles have a governor that doesn't, not the governor Landry, I'm saying in their vehicle. I think their vehicles may be programmed, at least the mayor president's, to stop at the city limits. of Lafayette.
Kind of like those Walmart shopping carts. You know, when they go past the line, the wheels lock up.
That's what happens. Yes. And maybe that's why she doesn't know. I don't know. But I say that with tenderness. You know, you say it too, you get too critical, you can be accused of not being nice, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But what I am trying to do is motivate our wonderful council members who are working hard to just ask the questions. Do you really want to spend $30 million more this year recurring on salaries? Because when you take in the salary increases the year one under this administration, and then year two, and then now the 30 in year three, you're at 65 million. You put all those pay raises, you're now at 50 million. That's 2/3 of the road program that she wants to do. And it's not a road program. It's maintenance. It's a regular routine road projects, all of which seem to be really good. I'm just saying, pay for them up front. You have the money. If you're going to bond out $77 million over 30 years, man, I could think of a lot bigger stuff to bond out. Okay? If you're going to do general obligation bonds, I mean, if you really want to do a road project, you got Verrod School Road right there sitting to finish the widening. You got a whole bunch of stuff. You got an interchange on Ambassador Caffrey that could really, I think it's 45 to 50 million. Those are really, really big ones. You know where all the panhandlers are? That's just one spot. I got to give them credit. They're a lot more mobile than they used to be. It's a culture. But there's a lot of projects. Okay, at $30 million a year, I'm just saying, over 10 years, that's $300 million. That you could do some damage with that. You could probably put a little bit of a down payment, a little bit of a local match, if there is even a local match, for the I-49 connector. Like all these things. How about if you're going to do some things with bonding and you really want to make a big splash? I hear the mayor president wants to bury power lines. I love that idea. I think it's wonderful. I like a lot of what she says. I just wish we'd do one. Can we just do one? You know? But if you're going to bond out, and I'm not saying you do this, but if I had to choose between bonding out, doing a big old project on Johnson, beautifying it up, but not this road diet nonsense, and bury those power lines, and I'll use the bureaucrat term to make us more resilient. See how I do that? All right? That'd be fantastic. You would cover a lot of ground there. But that's those are the big projects. But if I had to choose between that and routine road projects, no, I'm funding routine road projects with the millage that is already in place. And guess what? If we vote no on the debt, the millage is still in place for another 13 years. All right, guys, stick around. Hour number 2 right around the corner. Don't go anywhere. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your very grateful host. And in studio with me, Parker. What's up, my friend Park?
What's up, guys?
Man, let me tell you, that was a good break.
It was.
You know, stretched the legs, ready to rock and roll. I shook off all that local stuff you made me talk about. I'm kidding. I'm a nerd when it comes to the budget. I spent a lot of time with the finance department over the budget. A lot, because if you want to be able to do things, you got to be able to cut some spending where you can, or maybe prioritize this, prioritize that. But let's go to the WNBA. The cool kids are calling it the W. Have you noticed that? But before I go there, I'm going to tell you about my friends over there at Préjean's. Préjean's, 2 great locations, classic location between Lafayette and Karen Crow off I-49 and in Broussard. I can't say it's the new location anymore. It's the newer, because it's been around for a minute now. Right off of Morgan, right off the highway. Can't miss it. Préjean's. All right, the WNBA. Here's what's happening. Now, it's the Women's National Basketball Association. I've been watching a lot more of that, by the way, Park. I've been watching so much I don't even know. Who's Caitlin Clark's teammate, blonde-headed lady? She points.
Sophia Cunningham.
She points. She does this.
Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah. My wife's been following her on social media, so I have in return got to see some videos, because that's how lonely and sad my life is, Parker. I just sit by my wife and make sure, and whenever she has something entertaining on her phone, I just look at it.
That's pretty valid. Pretty valid. I think that's what a lot of us do these days.
All right, so the WNBA has found itself in the middle of another debate. How is this a debate? A debate over women's sports. Y'all know where I'm going with this. This time it involves 2 separate controversies that both raise the same underlying question. So first, former NBA players Enes Kanter and Royce White, they publicly announced they intended to enter the WNBA draft as women. I'm going to say that again. Former men players, National Basketball Association players, Enes Kanter and Royce White, publicly announced that they've changed their gender and they're going into the draft. Now, I don't know if they went that far, but let's see here. Now, I don't know if they were serious about making a point, but the league reportedly held discussions about how to respond. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. I don't think obviously they're not actually going to play in the WNBA. Hopefully. But
it's out there.
They wanted to make a point from what I've
of course. And it's wild. You know, now of course the WNBA did not announce new eligibility policies or anything like that. Instead, it said there were no immediate eligibility matters affecting the league, while also criticizing what they said was a bad faith efforts to demean or marginalize others. It's not okay. We created this separate league for women, and we're just trying to figure out a way to get y'all in, and we don't have it figured out yet. Okay? That's kind of what they said. Then came a second story, though. We were talking about the Indiana Fever. So at a Fever game versus the Atlanta Dream. Now, Atlanta, is that where the LSU player plays on?
Yeah, she got traded this year.
Yeah, she got Atlanta now. Yeah, that's what I thought. I pay attention. I pay so much attention I forget their names. But it's growing on me, okay? But the Indiana Fever versus the Atlanta Dream game, a Georgia mother and daughter say arena security asked them to cover shirts displaying the, quote, XX-XY Athletics, end quote, logo after complaints from other fans. What? I bet you if I put a shirt on that said white people suck, I bet you we'd be perfectly fine. What do you think?
Probably so.
If or whatever it is, If you are a white male, straight Christian conservative, you suck. If I had that shirt on, how many games do you think I'm getting asked to cover my shirt on? You know why? Because us conservatives and most people, now even liberals, most people can look past what a doggone shirt says. Liberals are conservatives. We're talking about the fringies here now. Now, according to several internet accounts, several articles I stumbled on, they were told they could either put on event shirts or leave the arena. But you cannot say boy and girl athletics. They chose to cover their shirts so they could stay and watch the end of the game. Well, that's interesting. The same article says another fan wearing a shirt supporting transgender rights, well, they were also asked to cover it. So you see, we're going to give credit where credit's due. They were at least mindful in the speech that they suppressed. If we can't have anybody speaking. See, that's the big centralized government mentality. That's a lack of leadership here. That's a lack of ingenuity. That's lazy and boring. Well, I'm going to punish everybody. You can't, offensive speech, yeah, it might be one or two people saying offensive speech to one or two people out of a gazillion, but we're not going to let anybody talk. We're not going to let anybody wear any shirt on that topic. Are you wearing a shirt there? I'm talking about you.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm wearing, what shirt? What shirt am I wearing?
Boys have to play boy sports. Girls have to play girl sports. Are you going to take a stand on that?
I would wear that shirt.
You would wear that.
I don't even think this is a political issue.
Me neither. This is such a small issue. And the whole...
Because nobody's saying that, transgender people shouldn't have rights. Just don't put them in the same sports.
What do you mean transgender people should? They have rights.
Yeah, that's what
they
I'm saying.
They have every right of every other American.
Yeah, nobody's saying.
But if we have people, the problem is us in society and some of the government decisions back in the day, about 3 or 4 decades ago, on how we treat certain things. But look, man, I don't care what you do, what you wear, what you do, okay, in your own time. I get all that. But this whole cultural narrative, like we're supposed to pretend that it's real, is not, in my opinion, healthy, okay? And I say this with compassion, man, I really do.
Yeah, there's nothing against anybody. It's just they shouldn't be playing together. That's all it is. Like, the most far left NBA player you could find would still say that they should not be playing.
No, we're going to get back to that. The physicality is night and day. But just the actual issue of transgenderism. This is a person, I'm just break it down. This is either a male or a female literally believing that they are the opposite sex and believing it. Okay? That's one group. Then there's another group that straight up just chooses it. Okay? Both should be treated, in my opinion, with extreme compassion and love and patience. And we shouldn't make fun. We shouldn't do anything that's, evil or hateful. But we do not accept an untruth. There are males and there are females. And perhaps, and I think it really is, mental treatment, mental health. Okay? I'm not saying anybody's bad or anything like that. And we look at mental health a lot differently than we did 20 years ago and 30 years ago. All right, if you had diabetes that were off, you go get your levels figured out. But as society, we cannot sit here with straight faces and condone that. So the NBA players, yeah, they're probably making a point. But we'll talk about that when we get back. Park is very learned in this, so we're gonna pick his brain, both on transgenderism and the WNBA. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. Let's see here. We are broadcasting from the KPEL studios. I'm looking at a picture of former NBA star Enes Kanter over here. Now, he's claiming from a religious freedom standpoint, right, Park? I'm looking at the big headline. religious freedom champion.
So
I can't see all the things you're looking at.
yeah, so he's widely recognized like for his activism. He claims that he was blackballed, same as Royce White, the other guy from the NBA, for how much they spoke out against things.
So they made themselves eligible for the WNBA draft just to prove a point. And
not only did they make themselves eligible, at least in his cancer, I'm not sure about Royce White, so I don't want to speak on him, but in his cancer actually declared for it. So not just eligibility.
Yeah, declared.
So he's technically right now in the selection pool.
Would you select him number 1 overall?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would go Royce White first.
Let me tell y'all something. Okay, well, I would pick any one of them. If I could have either one of those guys on my WNBA team and they actually are silly enough to let them be in the draft, I got you. I got you. What position would you like to play? And how about this? You go down the court, and this is the play. We throw the ball to you. Alley-oops the entire game. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah, of course these are two different. There's a difference. Come on. So the team over here we're talking about, the Fever and the Braves and all that, that was one incident. But now we have these two NBA, men's league folks saying, yeah, you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll prove our point this way. And we'll declare. One of them has declared for the WNBA draft. Parker, what's the eligibility? Could you declare? I want to declare for the NBA draft, actually.
The NBA draft?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you could find a way to declare for it. You wouldn't make it.
No, well, Toby Keith said, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I'm telling you, say what you want to say. I can keep contained for one play. I'm telling you, I will grade an A. I will grade one play. Give me a plus. I'm telling you, as a strong safety or one play. Now, I might throw my entire body, break every rib and leg and everything in front of that 350-pound guy that can run a 4.8 40. But you know what?
You containing Derrick Henry?
I can contain Derrick Henry.
For one play.
Absolutely. I will, listen to me. I will bite. I will gnaw. I will poke. I'll do whatever it takes to get him down. One play.
And how many yards do you think he's
getting? And I'm going low because this dude is like a train running at me.
How many yards do you think he's getting? Over under 5.
Well, my duty is contained, so that would be on the middle linebacker. Because if I break contain, that's my problem. If I don't break contain, and everybody listening that's not into football is like, guys, back to this. Anywho, yeah, but, I'd draft him. Why wouldn't you? And then I would recruit. I don't know. No one's drafting these guys. This is all a point. But the team, though, if you look at it from what's the common thread here? It's bigger than one basketball game or basketball league or anything like that. It's bigger than that. Professional sports organizations are increasingly being asked to answer questions that go far beyond the sport that they are pushing. This one is the WNBA. We only knew as a matter of time. Now, I thought it would be like a real legit deal, trying to declare. And legit deal meaning like, a dude that really does portray himself out as a woman. Dang. To each their own. I don't care what you think you are. I just think that, don't push it on everybody else. Don't make all these crazy exceptions for such a small percentage of people that subscribe to that. And the other people that are pushing it on this like loudly are just people that need something to do. Everybody needs something to do. Everybody needs something to do. So that's the way I kind of look at that. But the WNBA, those questions we're talking about, it's not unique to them. They are who's eligible to compete. When in the only thing that used to be relevant there, Parker, you correct me if I'm wrong, was age, and if and you have to sit out 1 year in high school, I think it is, or you have to be 1 year removed from high school or 19. It's like that's the NBA, I think. WNBA, I'm sure, has some kind of eligibility, but now we got to ask this. Not yet, but it's coming. They're probably so mad at them right now for forcing the issue. What you reading up on? Enlighten the folks.
I was just reading a third player said former NBA player Larry Sanders also intends to enter the draft.
Man,
imagine that the whole draft
is nothing but men. Oh my gosh! Well, this is what I would be doing as the GM. Okay, now I'm just saying we got the third one that's declared or thinking about it. Man, I would do everything I could to draft the top 3. I trade. How many draft picks do you want the next 3 years? First round draft picks.
Every pick I have for the rest.
It doesn't even matter because I win 5 straight titles and be done with it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
First 3, and the other 2 y'all just hang out. 3-on-5 basketball. Man, come on. You know, I did because I don't know how far it's coming. The Paris Olympics pushed it to the limit with transgenderism. They let that Turkey of all people, of all places. I didn't think transgender boxer would come from Turkey. Did you?
That was in the Olympics, right?
2024 Olympics.
Yeah.
Trump said it's not happening in 2028. I guess he has influence over the IOC. You're not allowed in the country. Gonna ban it. Gonna meet you at the airport. So, all right, let's take us a tiny little break. When we get back, we will. Unless you got anything else on this?
I don't have too much on it.
I mean, this is a pretty straightforward issue.
It is interesting. Royce White, one of the 3 guys listed, he was running for the Minnesota Republican Senate. He did lose on August 11th, but he's been in politics. This is his 3rd time running. He also ran for House. Did not win that either. But
man,
he's very persistent. This is his 3rd time running.
I mean, really? So where's he running at?
He was running in Minnesota.
Minnesota, of all places. Man, y'all, hey, go check him out. What's his name again?
Royce White.
Oh, Royce. Yeah, I thought it was the 3rd. Oh, that is the 3rd.
That's the 2nd one.
The 2nd one, okay.
Larry Sanders is the 3rd one.
Royce White. Y'all go check him out. He's trying to get into politics. He's up in Minnesota. Show him some love from the JSG show, the Josh Guillory show from Acadiana and beyond. Angry Vulcan from Indiana. All my folks. Hospital, Missouri. There's a few regulars.
The WNBA said, or a league source said, the WNBA is not taking declarations by former NBA players for the draft seriously. Sources called them attempts to sow division and chaos by bad faith actors.
Oh. I mean, it is poking. All right, I'll be honest. Was there any serious talk about men going into the WNBA?
No, but I do actually I would not doubt it if the league didn't do anything. Like a player like Enes Kanter, I watched him when he was in the league, and he's very like, I don't even know the word for it, but I do think if they don't do anything about it, I think he actually would try to play. Like the other 2, they're probably trying to make.
Oh, you think he's serious?
I think he would actually try to play. Yeah.
Man, come on. You sure? That's your thoughts. That's it. Yeah.
Because he was mad that he claims, he was one of the ones that claimed like he's getting blackballed from the NBA, and he still loves basketball. And I think if he gave him an opportunity to play basketball again, I do really think he would go.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's I don't see how these guys would have any value out of that. But one unintended consequence, these are men that are saying they're going to declare for the draft, the WNBA draft. If there's transgender men being women, well, that would also be men declaring for the WNBA. So if they decline to take these 3 gentlemen's eligibility serious, they can't let any other transgender folks into the WNBA, and that, in my opinion, would be a unintended or maybe an intended consequence.
Right, and that's what I was curious about too, especially with their statement saying it's bad faith actors and all of that. Like, what if one of those 3 was being serious?
Yeah.
What if one of those 3 was being serious? You can't. It's just we'll see what they do.
But they have to make a decision here if they declare, which one is already declared. Okay, so they have to make a decision. And if they make a decision that they're not going to let these men go into the Women National Basketball Association's draft, well, then they can't let any other men who dress like women and say they're a woman, they can't let them in either. So there is that. I don't know if that's part of the plan or not, or if that's maybe not even a thing with the WNBA. They may, but then they have to get into the decision making of, well, who's a real transgender, who's not. We'll stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience, and go check us out at rumble.com. I want to see that chat rocking. All right, let's see here, guys. We got so much to talk about. First, let me remind you about my friends over there at Giles Subaru. Giles Subaru, right off of Johnson Street near Ambassador Caffrey. Go get the latest editions of the Subaru. Go check out that showroom. Go check out the dog park at the Subaru dealership, which is phenomenal. But they have a wide variety here at Subaru, Giles Subaru, and you know you get the maintenance. You know you get the maintenance service from Giles Automotive. So that is fantastic. Go check them out, Giles Subaru. We got a Subaru dealership right here in Lafayette. So go check them out. Giles Subaru, Lafayette, Louisiana, on Johnston, near Ambassador. So I hear that SpaceX, if you haven't heard, yeah, SpaceX is rocking and rolling. You know, the details are still out there. We know we have some movement, I hear, in Pecan Island. We have some movement really all over the place. You know, Elon Musk with SpaceX has surely been bringing in some news and some opportunities to different locations along the Gulf. My understanding, though, is the Pecan possibly have up to 2 or 3, sometimes 4 rockets a day shipping out. You do have to get a permit. There's a limit. I'm kidding. but that's no small order. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in outer space. And if you look at Elon Musk's recent announcement of an idea he has, and he wouldn't announce it if he wasn't really thinking about it, you hear all these AI data centers. These AI data centers in Richland Parish and other places, they bring a whole bunch of great things. But there are some concerns. One of the concerns is energy production. To how do you produce enough energy? How do you generate enough electricity, enough power to generate all these data centers? So Elon Musk says, build one in space. You knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. One, you have constant power from this, almost constant power from the sun in solar power. That's good. But also the coolant variation. You don't have to worry about the heat and as much, if at all, in outer space. So and I'm sure there's some other practical benefits, land, We're not making more of it. God's not making more of it. Not yet, at least. So it's a very interesting dynamic, interesting thought concept. I'm going to love seeing this develop. My understanding is they're 2 or 3 years away from being really serious, like really, really, if this is a thing. But man, Elon Musk, he operates pretty fast. So these launching pads, launching sites as a layperson, I would assume would be, and this is what I was told, would be piecemealing it up. And you're literally building the database, AI data center in outer space. How neat is that, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that aspect of it is great. I think that's phenomenal.
Because you just keep building on. You keep adding on, or you have multiple ones. You can do it responsibly.
Yeah. And I've never heard of polluting space. So.
Well, we send a lot of trash up there, so you're right.
Yeah, I don't really think it has a negative impact on anybody, but maybe I'm wrong.
There's no economic impact study needed. Don't tell these rhinos and upper echelons of Democrats, even elite Republicans upper echelon. Don't tell them that. They'll study. They'll get money and then they'll study it. To study the study, then it expires and we have to study the new study because the old study, well, it expired. You feel me? Yeah. See how that goes? That's complicated, huh? What do you think about this SpaceX situation up there? That is a pretty cool idea, building a data center up there, huh?
Building a data center in space is, I think, genius. Because, again, like I said, because I think it is a concern for everyone. If you keep building them here, you're going to run out of water. Yeah. So you got to build it somewhere else.
Water, space.
You got to build it somewhere else. My only concern with it for Louisiana is the water. I think that's everybody's main concern. That's my main concern. All right,
so what do you mean, though? What water? Because there's different concerns, different strokes for different folks. The guys in Pecan Island, those rocket ships, they're gonna burn at the launching site. A lot of the water, they from what I understand, they flood the little area, they launch it, and that's contaminated water right there. So you got to do something with that. Right. I don't know if you can reuse it or not. I don't know.
They said I believe it said they were going to reuse what they can. Okay. And then what they can't, they have like a specific dump site. Okay. I mean, a lot of it will be
Is it the Gulf of America? Hey, if it's the federal government, you better watch out because they will put dirt on the wrong place and not pick it up, and then bad things happen.
Yeah, I mean, because that's my thing too. Is because it said anywhere from 150,000 to 350,000 gallons of water per takeoff. That's a lot. And a lot of people are under the impression that that's why they're going to be close, like down there is being close to the Gulf, but you can't use salt water.
Can't use salt water. So is there a salination? Am I saying that right? Process where they desalin. I'm butchering this. I'm not even gonna try it. Take the water out of the salt water. Take the salt out of the salt water. There's a way to do that. I wonder if you could do it on that massive of a scale. And if anybody's gonna figure it out, it'll be Elon. But that's
because if you can manage to do that, this could be one of the best things to happen in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. But if that's not a thing, it could be very. I just worry that it could make the demand for water in Louisiana go up because we won't have as much. And if the demand goes up, the price of it goes up. And if the price of it goes up, well, we know that the state of Louisiana, a lot of people can't really afford new bills right now. So
a lot of folks can't afford new bills. And that, that's a good thought that I hadn't thought about.
Yeah.
So But there's a whole bunch of fun. And then you got the data centers over there in Richland Parish. Is kind of, I'm only bringing them up because of the discussion we're having about SpaceX. I don't know all what SpaceX's mission's going to be. I'm sure a lot of that's classified. There has to be, I'm sure, I would be shocked if not, some collaboration with the federal government just to be able to launch those things. So, I would imagine that NASA has some thoughts into what his operations are. I would imagine there's some synergy there. I don't know why there wouldn't be. But we'll see. That's what else would SpaceX be doing here, other than, and are we building an AI? I got a question for you. Are we building an AI data center on the moon?
I mean, that'd be cool. Why not?
And if some of my friends were here, they'd say, well, you first got to land on it. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. We let. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to my friends over there, KLFY Plus. Love you guys. I want y'all to go check out that app as well, KLFY Plus. It's one of only three, as I know of, one of three local news stations in Louisiana that has this platform, that Plus platform. So that's the future. And you can get ahead of it. You can see a lot of things. You see old episodes. You can see they have a regular TV lineup, and we're from Sunday to Friday, from 3 to 4 p.m. Go check us out. But they have other shows too. They got the pre-news, all the things. Go check them out. We love it. We love it. Also, guys, got to tell you about my friends over there at Indoor Recreation. You want one of those cool old school arcade games. You want a nostalgic dartboard, or if you want a custom pool table, man, they could put pretty much anything on that. So go check them out. Indoor Recreation, right off of College Saloon, right off of Rue Louis the 14th. Love them, love them, love them. Now, Park, I got a legitimate question here. Assuming we landed on the moon, and assuming Artemis, I guess 3 or 4 or whatever it is, lands on the moon, and part of their mission, I believe, is starting a space, like a moon station. Are you familiar with Artemis and all that?
I've heard of it. I'm not too familiar with it, but I've heard of it.
So our Artemis program right now, NASA's sending people to the moon that we want to land on the moon again, for the first time.
Wasn't Artemis supposed to? Isn't it like orbiting it to know what?
They did. Yeah. So they just finished that. That's good. So they just finished it with the live crew, orbited Earth. And that was a big deal. First time we've done that in a long time. Or first time they orbited the moon. Now, very valid questions. If we've landed on the moon before, why did we have to do this warm-up run? And I think an objective answer would be, well, it's been a hot minute, and we got some new technology, and we want to make sure that everything works. So I don't think that that's a bad approach, but it's a legitimate question. Now, as far as have we landed on the moon, well, everybody has their opinion. I think I'm a big believer of bold accusations require bold proof, but I'll be the first to say it is kind of interesting to see the camera angle of the spacecraft launching from the moon up. It seems like that needs to be explained. And what was explained to me was, well, that was there by design, that they left it there, and that they were able to toggle it and move the camera from Houston or wherever they were back at on Earth, on planet Earth, literally.
I used to be big into the conspiracy that we didn't actually go, but after actually recognizing that there's nothing on the moon as of right now that we could actually benefit from, there's no minerals, whatever that we
don't know
that we know of, but I think, and then I learned that allegedly it was to beat, who was it? We wanted to beat somebody to the moon, Russia or China?
Yeah, Russia. Definitely Russia.
So after learning that, and then also I'm sure they're sending that thing. I'm sure I think we literally, if we did go, we just got there, landed, stepped out, came back, just to say we did it. So I doubt that any of it's actually been explored.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So the moon base. Look, I don't have a problem with the moon base. I have to trust our military leaders and our intelligence that comes through, on the line each day, probably multiple times that we're not privy to. So I would imagine there's got to be some kind of benefit to that.
Yeah. To me, I don't think we've ever I do really truly think we never had a reason to go back, and we did it to beat Russia, and so I think they sent the Artemis.
So there was no incentive.
Yeah.
We've been there a couple times. We rode a little golf cart, whatever, that moon mobile.
But if you're gonna put a station there, I think you really have to have a deeper, different understanding of what's on the moon and what happens there. So I think that's why they sent that there, because I don't think we ever really did that research. We just went there, say we went, and came back.
Picked up a few rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Some folks, it's a lot. How are we on time?
We're good. We're about halfway.
That's wrong. Oh, I want more time. Doggone it. We're having fun. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I will say I'm still. If I had to pick, I would pick we did land. I would. I mean, if you just that's my opinion. If you tell me we had to pick, I would pick that. And I'm judging it based on how hard Buzz Aldrin punched that dude in the face when he was in his 70s or whatever on denying that they landed. That's my objective reason. Is that fair? That's based on science right there?
Yeah, I think if I was the only person to ever be on the moon and somebody was trying to tell me I did,
yeah,
I'd be pretty mad.
I'd be pretty mad, man. So I risked my life. I went through the atmosphere twice. I went in this strange rock for the first time, man. I'd be so ticked. But hey, look, and I know we're not taking calls today, but I know the phone lines would probably ordinarily be lit up on this. Hey, we don't know, but I will say on this data center stuff, don't think it ain't coming. I mean, that does kind of make sense to put. I mean, you might have to have your own AI data center just to support the moon base, which is probably what would be coming. I don't know if the distance or anything makes a difference. I don't see how it would.
I mean, how are we getting Wi-Fi on the moon? I feel like
same way that they were able to talk on their cell phone.
That's true.
It's true. I mean, you understand there's absolute ways that the space has very few obstacles in communication, especially direct line there.
I think technology is way further advanced than we'll ever understand in our lifetime.
Well, that's true. That's a true statement, and that's true of any generation, I would imagine. But I could see the military component from a moon base. I could see the scientific component for exploration. It probably would be used as a launching pad to go to Mars, I would imagine, unless they're launching straight from here.
Do you think if we put one on the moon, other countries would follow?
You would think. Unless it becomes the international moon base, like the International Space System, which is possible.
Yeah, I think it would depend.
Be a base for peace.
I think it would depend on who's president when we put it there, to be honest.
Trump's like, we're the only ones. I don't know, man. He gets along with a lot more people than he gets credit for. It's just some of the ones he doesn't. It just overshadows. But you don't go into office after being out of office for 4 years and hit the ground running on a foreign diplomacy standpoint the way that he did without having some good relationships. You had to be able to work with somebody to be able to do that. But, so very interesting, Park. I want to see what this SpaceX is going to do. I want to see the impact it has. You got to iron out all those wrinkles as far as the possible well, there will be contamination. How do you manage it? Very eager to see and excited to see the technological advances that Elon Musk's company comes up with just to be able to support these type of operations across our country. And this one we're talking about Pecan Island, because the private sector will probably typically benefit from it too. Guys, thank y'all so much for sticking around. We had a blast, Parker and I. Be careful out there. May God bless you and be kind.